The Todd Shapiro Show.
Time to hit the button!
On Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.
Lance Lambert from BovedaInc.com, BovedaInc, BovedaInc.com, two-way humidity control packs, keeping everything fresh. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you doing, Todd?
Yeah, man, I'm back. We had a long weekend over here, and nice, just sort of chilling out. You know what I'm saying, bro?
I do. And Bilal and I were just talking about that. He said, how can we sync up the holidays between Canada and the U.S.? Because we're literally like 1 week off on so many of them.
No, it's true. But we don't want anything to do with you guys, though. We've actually started to build a wall. So I'm doing this whole campaign again, make Canada safe again, and we're building a wall. We don't want any of you damn foreigners coming our way. No, we love you all. We love everyone. Everyone's welcome in our country. Maybe a little too many people, actually.
It's mutual.
No, we're happy here. So you're in Palm Springs. What's going on?
I am, yeah, actually out here in Palm Springs, just visiting some clients and potential partners out here, trying to get out to the desert before things get too hot. I know you were talking about the weather's finally changing for you, and the same for us as we segue through spring into the summer months here. So, just hitting the street in Southern California.
I see here in your notes, this one kind of made me laugh. The heir to the Coca-Cola throne was arrested with $1.3 million worth of cannabis.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. So it was quite unique in the fact that they were flying in international airspace to a federation. And essentially, evidently, they're trying to broker a deal to bring cannabis in and hemp, I should say, technically hemp, not THC cannabis. And I don't know what went wrong, but all of a sudden they were stopped at the airport and things turned bad quickly, and they were arrested and had to post bail. And yeah, it's definitely another story of so many people getting into the industry, but maybe not necessarily taking the right path to do so.
And is this individual Alki David, basically a Greek billionaire? Is this like a sign? Like, is he involved with the Coca-Cola business?
So I don't know about his extent to the connection besides being an heir. So I don't know if he's actively involved or not. That was first time coming across it. You know, there are some players that we don't know about in the industry. I mean, heck, there's even an investigative journalist that I was talking to last year. She's working on a big story where she is able to tie investments back to the Trump organization of all organizations.
Oh, wow.
With respect to cannabis. So there's a lot more people tied to the industry and the potential that it brings than I think most mainstream know. And this is another instance where it really didn't hit any of our radars. I'd say most people were not aware of any tie anyway to anyone from the Coca-Cola industry. We knew that the soda industries were talking about it. You know, we know that both Coke and Pepsi had at first made a comment about potentially doing CBD-infused beverages last year, but they were both really quick to back off. I'm guessing because they didn't want to upset the FDA, as we are seeing now with CVS and talking about offering CBD products in their stores. Then all of a sudden the FDA again kind of stepped in and said, whoa, wait a minute. You know, that's not what the 2018 Farm Bill was all about. When it came to descheduling hemp, it was more so to be used for industrial and commercial use. So let's talk this through a little more. And that kind of ties into some of the conversation that came out of being in D.C. was just talking about getting a little less gray and a little more definition around that farm bill as it pertains to hemp, because most people took it as here's an opportunity for us to start offering hemp on the consumption side, not just on the commercial use side of things. So
these laws are really still very unclear, aren't they? Like you know, I know we've talked about this in the past, but it's pretty like it is. No one really knows what the hell's going on.
It's true. Everything's moving so quick. I mean, there's so much again, not to keep talking about D.C., but that's exactly being out there. A lot of the senators and congressmen's assistants or staff, they said, there's just so much going around on the Hill right now. There's so many different acts, so many different bills. We're just trying to get more education. We're trying to get more insight. There's just so many things that are moving and people with different initiatives. I mean, that's exactly what's coming out as far as latest news that you might come across. There's civil rights groups that actually sent a formal letter to Congress calling them to evaluate the DEA's war on drugs and the lack of its effectiveness. And these aren't just like random civil rights groups that are bringing this up. This is the ACLU, this is NAACP, this is our friends at the Drug Policy Alliance. So these are some heavy hitters that are tied to the civil rights in our country that are saying, hey, this whole war on drugs thing that kind of got started back in the Nixon time, then perpetuated by Reagan and the DARE program, thanks to Daryl Gates, circa 1984 in L.A. Like, this is out of control. There's governmental funds at a federal level that are actually contributing towards the wrong direction as far as what they're contributing towards as far as efforts around the industry. So essentially they're focusing on putting people away, locking people up in prison, making sure that they throw away the key for anyone who's a serious offender, instead of trying to come up with proactive programs and trying to actually look at it from a potential legal standpoint. So there's all kinds of stuff and all kinds of efforts going on. It's pretty crazy.
How is business done in the legal states for, I think I asked you this before, but about transportation between other states? Like, have you had, say you're growing CBD in California where you can do so, but you want to get it to Oregon or to Denver where it's legal. Are you allowed going through state lines?
Technically, you are, as long as it's been legally produced. So when the Farm Bill descheduled, so it's technically, I mean, again, this was broad stroke when the Farm Bill was revised. So we visit our Farm Bill every 2 times a decade. So last time was 2014. Now this most recent time is 2018. So when they visited it and deschedulized hemp, everyone thought, oh, now you can legally grow hemp in all 50 states. Well, yes and no. So technically, it's saying that it's not illegal to grow it, but the states actually have to establish a hemp program. So right now, you have all kinds of states. Like one that is most recognized, I think, is Kentucky. It's a big deal. Like Kentucky was so quick to start and launch a hemp program. So if that state has a legitimate hemp production program, then yes, they can actually manufacture it and they can legally export it. So that's where a lot of states are going. So Oregon has a program, Colorado has a program, Washington, California is still working on theirs, but there's several other states that are well along that path. So by those means, it is legal.
And you're saying there was some more co-sponsors in the Senate regarding the Safe Banking Act, which would allow cannabis companies to kind of bank with banks, right? Essentially.
Yeah, that's essentially it. So all it's saying is, hey, we're a legitimate business if you count all 11 states that allow recreational, and if you include all states that allow some level of medical or at minimum CBD, which is a derivative of cannabis, as we know, and hemp, then you're adding up to about 46 states. So right now, we can count on one hand how many states still have cannabis or hemp 100% illegal based on their local rules and regulations within those states. So looking at it from that perspective, that's why I think there was 28 DAs in total that got on board with the Safe Banking Act, because they said, yes, this is a legitimate business. Look at all these states that have established some sort of legality or infrastructure in business to be able to actually offer cannabis. So we need to support them. We can't make it a cash-only business. I mean, this didn't happen when the prohibition for alcohol ended. We didn't say, oh, yes, now you can legally sell alcohol, but it has to be an all-cash, no check, no charge, no ACH, et cetera. So it's long past time. And it's not, again, it's not are you pro or against cannabis. It's are you about safety? Because we even have the problem of there's certain places that we can't pick up cash and deposit it because we don't have a place to deposit it because our bank won't let us. It's like we don't even touch the plant. Why am I being penalized for something that's a legitimate business in this state, and you're not allowing me to even pick up the money to do that business? So
I saw a tweet recently, Lance Lambert from BovedaHerbal's that basically said that there was a picture of an empty stadium, and it was probably a stadium that held like 45,000 people, and said less people in the history of time have overdosed on marijuana then that could fit in that stadium. Like, and even that I thought was a high number, meaning like 40,000 people could OD'd on it. But you know, again, and not to make any sort of health claims or anything, but like those aren't stories you hear like opioids and stuff, right?
No, exactly. And another thing, a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, both of us are from the Kurt Cobain generation, right? So a lot of people mistaken when they hear the term overdose that instantly means death. And that's very much closely related to heroin and the epidemic that's going on with both heroin and opioids in general, whether it be pharmaceutical or illicit drugs. But when you talk about overdose doesn't mean dying. It just means someone who had an excessive amount of cannabis consumed. So as far as legitimate deaths, there's zero as far as any record of a legitimate death that's occurred based on consumption of cannabis. The only exceptions have been if it's an individual that had an extremely weakened immune system. So there's a case down in San Diego where an individual, he was in hospice. He was very much final stages, I believe it was stage 4, but he was in the final stages of life. He was using cannabis therapeutically to help with going through some of the pain that he is enduring and some of the side effects of the drugs that he is consuming, and he actually passed away. It was not directly tied, of course, to cannabis, but since cannabis was in the mix, that's something that people like to point out. But as far as cannabis itself, we all have endocannabinoid systems, so technically, yes, you can take too much cannabinoids in, but you're not going to die from it.
And when are you back in town? You said you're coming back up in a couple of weeks.
I am. I'll be back up for Lift Toronto. We always love coming up to that show. It's a phenomenal opportunity for the licensed producers, specifically in the Ontario market, but honestly across Canada as well. We see people from coast to coast. And it's a great opportunity for consumers. It is a B2B show, so they do have the education series on Thursday, and then they have B2B on Friday. But it's actually also a consumer show on Saturday and Sunday. And we'd love for people to come out and visit us. We give out free samples. We educate them on properly storing and maintaining their cannabis. But it's a great event to have people out. And we love the fact that we run into a lot of our clients and customers because it is a little bit of a challenge up there, right? Down here, you've been to L.A., Todd. You've driven – as soon as you leave the airport, you see a billboard for a local dispensary, for a local cannabis manufacturer. That's something that you can't do in Canada. You guys, you're very much, your hands are tied when it comes to any sort of promotion or advertising. So this is a great opportunity for the average consumer to come out and to meet these brands, to engage with them, to see the new products that they bring to the table, and just have those educational conversations. So that's why it's such a great show we love to come up for.
And that's Lift Expo?
Yeah, that's a Lift Expo right there at the Convention Center downtown. So right around the corner from you. And I believe we've got a little visit scheduled on Thursday for me to come.
Oh, yeah. Right in studio.
So looking forward to it.
That's incredible. Well, Lance, I always love these catch-ups with you. So well informed. And, you know, Lance and I hopefully doing some other stuff together. He's so great at everything he does, knowing the space so well and working so hard for the team over at BovedaInc.com. And you guys are like, are you guys in every country on the planet right now?
We technically, I wouldn't say in every country, but we're on every continent, which is huge. I mean, I love the fact to be able to say that, you know, we have representation. And unlike other companies, it's not just about finding someone to sell your product. We find partners out there. So to have these phenomenal partners in South America and Australia, across Europe, Ireland, Africa, I mean, even in Asia, it's phenomenal, these partnerships that we establish with these individuals that see the value of the product and how much good it brings to society. So, yeah, we're on every continent. I can say that.
How many packs, again, do you guys go through a year? How many millions?
I'll just say millions.
No, do you guys have a number there? How many millions of packs you guys sell? Can you not disclose that?
Yeah, you know, we're a private company, so we do keep some things close to the vest. As far as that goes, but it's safe to say it's millions and millions. Maybe, you know what, I'll have my R&D come up with a formula that gives you an idea of scale. So maybe we'll find a Coliseum and be able to tell you how many packs we can fill it with.
It's so crazy, man. You guys are doing such great business. Well, you're an incredible team of people, and always I love working with you guys. Lance Lambert from Boveda, BovedaInc, BovedaInc.com, hashtag Boveda Cannabis. And go check them out. Obviously, they don't touch the plant, but they help keep that fresh for you.
Yep. You got it. Always a joy, Todd. Always a joy.
Okay, man. So we'll see you. I guess we got one more week of phone calls, and I'll see you the week after that.
Yep, sounds like a plan. You guys have an excellent week. Enjoy that better weather up there too, eh?
Oh yeah, it's coming, baby. We're starting to feel alive. It's been we've been like zombies this entire winter.
I know you guys have gotten hit hard. So is Minnesota. So is our headquarters.
Oh, that's right.
Right down from them to you.
Oh man, I know. People are starting getting ugly without a tan. Okay, Lance. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
All right.
This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.